Hey everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of New York City, Season 11, Episode 5, Shark Bait. I laugh at the names of these shows, this one in particular, because we get to witness the room assignment scandal to end all room assignment scandals. Nobody does a room assignment the way the New York Housewives do. To be fair, it's usually just Ramona and Sonia. They always want a room together and they always want the best room. So they're the main culprits, but not this time. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to start with the taglines. I realized I had forgotten to do the taglines. They didn't come out until episode 2, I think. And of all the franchises, at least the ones that I watch, the New York taglines are usually the best. So we start with Luann. I plead guilty to being fabulous. Ramona. The only thing I settle for is more. Sonia. People call me over the top, but lately I prefer to be a bottom. Surprise, surprise, Sonia's is sexual. Tinsley. Game, set, now I need a match. I love that her being thirsty is now just part of her identity. There's no hiding it. She just wants to snag a man, and we're just going to put it right out there in her tagline. Bethany, when life gives me limes, I make margaritas. And finally, Dorinda, if you have a problem with me, that's your problem. Yeah, there is no more making it nice. Okay, so this episode opens with Tinsley and my favorite character, Dale. They're walking down the street heading to a doctor's office where I am so confused. Tinsley, I guess, is just having Botox injections in her jaw. She has TMJ and she has a lot of issues with clenching and she carries stress in her jaw. But Dale says, I don't even understand what they're gonna do to you. I hope it doesn't change the shape of your jaw. I like your square jaw. That was the first thing that was said, and I'm thinking, what is she having done? And then I find out it's just Botox, and then I'm thinking, how does Dale think that the Botox is going to change the shape of her jaw? I do think that Dale revealed a little bit later that she didn't understand what was happening. Anyway, then of course, as long as she's there, she gets a little Botox in her forehead. She and Dale admit that they don't like to be able to move their forehead at all. That is the level of Botox they are comfortable with. The other thing about this scene is that we learn that Tinsley is getting herself back into the charity world. She's starting to rebrand herself, I guess, in New York. And she's starting by having a doggy fashion show. And this is to support, I think, an animal rescue shelter. Okay, the next scene is Ramona and Sonia, and they're walking in the park, or they're walking outside somewhere. All I got from that scene was that they both think that Dorinda is in a good place right now. Wow. I mean, that was not the impression I got last week. Anyway, Dorinda is having them all come to the Berkshires. And because filming started so early this season, the Berkshires is not going to be at Christmas time like normal. But now I guess she's going to be decorating for Halloween. Next, we are at Bethany's house, and she is having a grief counselor come to her apartment. I guess one that makes house calls. It's amazing to me that Bethany gets any benefit from counseling whatsoever because she never stops talking. Like, ever. This guy barely got 2 words in, and at the end of that session, she's hugging him and saying, yeah, this was great. I feel much better now. I mean, maybe really all she needs is to just talk it through. And I'm kind of kidding. It's not like he said nothing, but what's happening is that this thing with Dennis and his passing is super complicated. And I'm sort of understanding her a little bit better. She said, I didn't understand my place at the funeral. His ex-wife had to make all the arrangements, and she said, I didn't know where I fit in. And so I think, in a way, I kind of understand how that might make the grieving process difficult. because you don't even really understand the definition of your relationship. You know, you're feeling all these feelings like a girlfriend would, but at the same time, their relationship was very on and off again. She said, I don't even think I said this out loud before, but just like that, the Saturday before, like a week before he died, I just said, I have to exit this dynamic. Like, she was looking for a way out. I think she harbors a lot of guilt now too, because she was having these feelings and then he died, and she's just sort of left with feeling bad, you know. I get that it's complicated, and I get that maybe it being complicated almost makes things worse. All right, now it's time for Tinsleys Dog Show. It is a fashion show, and the ladies are going to be walking with their dogs down like a little runway, and the dogs will have on a cute little outfit. And I guess Ramona, Sonia, and Dorinda have volunteered to walk in this thing. Luann may have also, but when Luann got there, Tinsley said, oh, I didn't have an extra dog, so you can just watch. So, I don't know. It's Tinsley's in charge of the whole thing, so maybe she's a little out of practice. Dorinda's dog passed away last year, Lucy. Of course, named Lucy. Anyway, Dorinda is walking with one of the dogs who are up for adoption. Before the Strut Your Mutt fashion show begins, the ladies are standing around talking. Luann and Dorinda are cordial, nice to each other. The last time they saw each other, they hugged and kissed, remember? I'm gonna come in for a hug whether you want it or not. Which, you know, was a little #MeToo, but... So they should be nice to each other. It's just that the last thing between Barbara and Dorinda was so bad. In the confessional, Luann said, Barbara told me about her meeting with Dorinda at her apartment, and I think Barbara is trying to protect me, but at this point, Barbara just needs to work on her own relationship with Dorinda. Jeez, Barbara was just offending you. That was kind of the whole point, and now you're just like washing your hands of it? That just seemed kind of cold. Luann has this whole entitled attitude that, well, I'll talk about it later in the show. As I was saying, the ladies are chatting before the fashion show starts, and they're talking about the Berkshires. Dorinda said, yeah, I'm gonna get everything ready. Everyone's coming. They're not coming all at the same time, but everyone's coming. Even Barbara. It's not like I don't hate her anymore. It's just that I'm annoyed. She's not a housewife. Why is she going to every function now? I thought we were going to leave her in the Hamptons, but no. She's in New York City. Now she's going to the Berkshires. This is episode 5, and Barbara has left her mark all over every episode so far. I don't know. I don't get it. Dorinda is telling the ladies that she hired the naked chef to come and cook for them one night, and they're all laughing, talking about that. And Luann said to her, do you know of a good yoga person in the Berkshires? And Dorinda said, yeah. Do you think you could arrange that? I mean, if you can, it's fine. Dorinda said, yeah, I'll arrange for that. Like Wednesday morning? And she goes, that would be great, thanks. So now it's about time for the show to start. And Tinsley has been running around. Like I said, she's coordinating this whole thing, and she's kind of running ragged and trying to organize everything. And one of the assistants comes up to her and said, your mother wanted me to tell you that you need lip gloss. And Tinsley's like, okay, thank you. And then we cut over to Dale, and Dale's like off in the far distance holding the dog and just smiling. She's so controlling. Anyway, Ramona is back on the runway. Bravo gives us a flashback to her first runway show. Even Ramona admits that, I was like a deer in headlights. But this will be better this time because I'm walking with my dog. It was fine. I certainly hope the show was longer than what we saw, because we only saw the 3 ladies walking their dogs, and then it was like, thank you, everybody. Goodbye. The whole thing was about 3.5 minutes. Now the ladies are going to have lunch on a yacht that's parked like right around the corner from where they are. And it is owned by one of Ramona's friends. Dorinda says she can't come because she's heading right to the Berkshires to get everything ready. And now Bethany is meeting them for lunch on the yacht. She did not make it to the fashion show though. So now we are on Deborah's yacht, and it's lovely. They started to talk again about the Berkshires and that Dorinda was having the naked chef come. They were all kind of making jokes about the naked chef. Is he really going to be naked and all this stuff? That got them talking about eating off of somebody's naked body. Like, have you ever seen those girls that lay there and they've got all these like sushi on them and you just kind of eat off of like a naked girl laying there? I'm making it sound weird, but like you guys know what I'm talking about, I think. So they started to talk about that, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, I would not want to eat off of a naked body. Luann goes, oh, I don't know. It sounds kind of hot to me. Bethany, I mean, I wouldn't want to eat sushi off of somebody's vagina, but I mean, a belly button? Why not? How about this for a why not? You are deathly allergic to fish. Why am I the only one that knows this? I know you guys at home know this too because you've been talking about it in the comments as well. What is going on with her? First, she's got the fish platter that she serves everybody in the Hamptons. She went to a clam bake at Barbara's, yet she takes one sip of a broth of soup that had fish in it, and she's dry heaving in the bathroom. And then I guess had a very serious reaction to fish that was in the news, not during filming, but like that was in the news where she like almost died. But sushi? Yeah, sure. I'll eat that off of somebody's belly button. I don't understand. I know supposedly she can have shellfish, but as I said before, if I were that sick when I had just the slightest bit of fish, I wouldn't even eat shellfish. I would stay away from anything that came from the sea. But that's just me. Okay, so after lunch, talk turns to Tinsley and her relationship with Scott. Tinsley's favorite subject, I'm sure. These ladies are just grilling her. Mostly Bethany, who's got, the rapid fire questions coming at her. Are you going to have kids? Do you want to have kids? How old are you, if you don't mind me asking? She's like 43. Okay, so yeah, I mean, now's the time, right? If you're going to have kids, I would do it. Bethany's like, do you want kids? And Ramona goes, yes, she froze her eggs. And she goes, oh, okay, so you do then. Tinsley can barely get a word in edgewise, and she's saying, yes, eventually, I think so. I think that I would want to do that. And then Luann, the one we all should be taking relationship advice from, said, I haven't heard you say anything about love. Do you love him? I'm hearing about having kids, not having kids, but do you love him? You know what? Keep your divorced mouth shut. Let's just say this. I'm sure she loves him as much as you loved Tom. Bethany's like, are you 100% sure he's going to ask you to marry him? And Tinsley goes, well, who can ever be 100% sure about anything? Bethany, oh, me, I am. Oh, I knew every time. I didn't always make the best choices, but I always knew if they were going to ask me or not. So Tinsley pulls out the old, well, he knows what cut of diamond I want, and he showed me pictures of engagement rings, so now Luann's going, okay. Like that's satisfying Luann, but nobody else. In the confessional, Ramona goes, who does that? What kind of man shows you pictures of an engagement ring? I think he's doing that because he knows that's what Tinsley wants. He's just playing with her, or he's playing with himself. Yeah, that's what he's doing, Ramona. Anyway, Tinsley said his business, his career, and his life are in Chicago, and my brand is New York City, and that's who I am. And she said, Bethany, about like trying to build your brand. Well, that's what I'm trying to do right now. And Bethany's like, oh, yeah, okay. And she said, listen, I'm not going to leave New York City without a ring on my finger. Bethany's like, would he bolt if you gave him an ultimatum? And she's like, I don't want to do that. And they're just all getting on her. And finally, it kind of turns around because Bethany said, we think you don't see what we see. You are a beautiful woman, and we feel like maybe you aren't seeing your own worth. The others jumped in and agreed. They kind of equated it to Luann and Tom. You know, we weren't trying to just butt into Luann's life, but we could see what was happening and she couldn't. Even Luann was kind of like, yeah, they've got a point. Anyway, it kind of ends okay. And Tinsley's like, geesh, you guys are worse than my mother. Which they kind of were. You know who I feel sorry for? Deborah. I don't think that woman said one word this entire lunch. And she's hosting them all on her yacht, and they all get into a conversation that really kind of excludes Deborah. I mean, I realize Deborah also invited the film crew of Bravo on her yacht, but still. Okay, guys, we are in the Berkshires. Yeah. And Dorinda's Halloween decorations are next level. She's got something gory or scary or spooky in every nook and cranny of that home and the outside. It is over the top, and I love it. Okay, then we get a visit from Dorinda's sister, Melinda. Dorinda and Melinda. Melinda she's just like a real salt of the earth gal. She comes over with veggies that she has picked from her garden. So she must not live very far, but I didn't think I had ever seen her before. But then Bravo lets us know that she had played Santa Claus for the ladies back in 2015, I think it was. So I guess she was just there to drop off the veggies and maybe provide somebody for Dorinda to like talk about what's going to be happening and who's coming and all that. Tinsley, Sonia, and Ramona are arriving first, and then later that night they are meeting Luann for dinner, and then Luann is going to come and stay at Dorinda's house as well, but Luann is coming from her new house in upstate New York. I don't know where exactly. So she's just going to meet them at the restaurant, and then Bethany is coming the next day, and I don't know when Barbara's coming, but so the first guests, Sonia, Ramona, and Tinsley, arrive, and they get out of the car, and they see, for the first time, they see all this scary stuff that's out on the like front patio, and they scream, and they're laughing and screaming, and then Ramona looks at this like scary monster face. I'm going to show it to you guys. And she said, "Oh my God, that looks like Bethany when she's crying." And then Bravo shows us Bethany crying, and oh my God, it is so funny. You know, I'm going to have to do a side-by-side here because it is hilarious. Okay, so after talking for a little bit, Dorinda tells them that she's one bedroom short. And oh my God. This is the first glimpse into room assignment gate. Ramona said, "Can I stay in Hannah's room?" And Dorinda said, "Bethany already asked me and I'm saving it for her." Ramona goes, "She's not coming till tomorrow. That's not fair. We're here first." Sonia said, "Are you sure she's not going to stay in a hotel? Because she stayed in a hotel last time." And Dorinda said, "No, she promised that if she could stay in Hannah's room, that she wouldn't stay in a hotel. She will come here." Ramona said, "That's not very nice." And I was kind of thinking the exact same thing. "I'll stay with you, but only if I can be in the nicest room." I don't know why I'm surprised that any of these ladies are being rude. What I am surprised about is that Ramona kind of lets it go. She's like, "All right, well, you know, Bethany's in a bad place right now, so." And Dorinda said, "Bethany just lost her best friend, so I just want to make her as comfortable as possible." I don't mean to be cold and unfeeling, but enough with the just lost your best friend stuff. Because as we just learned, a week before he died, she's saying, "I need to get off this ride." You know, that's why I have a problem with like her wearing the ring and just saying, "I didn't tell anybody, but he proposed to me." And now she's wearing the ring like she's a grieving widow. That part I have a problem with. You had a tumultuous relationship with him at best. It was on and off again. Just before he died, it seemed to be off. You were dating other people all along, as we also learned. I'm not saying that she isn't grieving. I'm sure she is. I'm not even saying he wasn't a big part of her life. I'm sure he was. But Dorinda, I feel like, is equating it to her losing Richard. And I don't think it's anything like that. Like I said, I'm not trying to come off as cold and callous, but I'm a little bothered by the sympathy that I feel like Bethany is allowing others to give her as though she's now a widow. I don't know. I can't explain it. Let's move on. So now Dorinda says, I'm going to put Luann in the Moroccan room. And we get to see a picture of that. And she said Tinsley, that she was going to put Tinsley in the back guest room, which is lovely. You'll like it. We see that room as well. And both of these rooms look very nice. Tinsley, I guess, is acting a little bit funny about being in the back bedroom. Like, I either missed it or I wasn't really sure what Tinsley's objection was. Then she says, and somebody's going to have to double up. So then Ramona said, who gets the fish room? Now, do you guys remember the fish room? It's ridiculous. It's painted, I don't know, like a dark sea green teal color. The bedspread's a bright blue. Nothing really seems to go together. And then there's like plaid and there are giant taxidermied fish covering every wall in that room. It looks like it would be a room in a hunting lodge or something. I'm sorry, it is just so ugly. I don't understand it. Every other bedroom is lovely and tastefully decorated. And then you have this janky ass, weirdly colored fish room. It's inexplicable to me. Ramona says it best in her confessional. She's like, you feel like you're being punished in that room. Get it? So finally, Dorinda says, well, okay, then Luann can stay in the fish room. Oh, that's going to come back to bite her. No pun intended. Side note, given her past history, Ramona should be punished in the fish room. I don't know if you guys remember, I think it might have been 2 years ago. Do you remember how Ramona trashed her room like a rock star? She was ripping things off the wall that was like either pulling off paint or pulling off wallpaper or something. And she broke things and yeah, she's not the best house guest. I would put her in like a bubble wrap room if she were staying in my house. Anyway, now it's time to go to dinner and meet Luann. Ramona said, did the luggage get brought up yet? Tinsley goes, who's going to bring up the luggage? The mummy? It's so Ramona, though. Those are the kind of things that are endearing to me about Ramona. That she expects somebody else to carry her luggage when she's staying at a friend's house. All right, everybody, we are now entering the Wheatley Hotel. This is a lovely establishment where the ladies are going to have dinner and they are meeting Luann there. And it starts off quite lovely. Luann arrives, greets everybody hello, sits down, and they're in this big, like, sort of a half circle booth. And Luann asks, so what do we have planned for tomorrow? And Dorinda said, okay, so we're going to wake up and have yoga. In the morning, we're going to start with that. And then we're going to have a tour of Bedford Hall, which is a beautiful Morgan house. To the confessional, Sonia said, I haven't been there, but I heard about it at one of the Morgan board meetings. Yes, she's just reminding us that she is a Morgan, even though she's been divorced for 100 years. Anyway, then we're going to meet with the naked chef and have dinner at 7. Luann, any chance you have anyone for a massage? And there's a little bit of an awkward pause, and Luann's like, sorry, just asking. So Dorinda said, a massage? Luann, mm-hmm. Dorinda, yeah, I can arrange that for you. Luann, oh, that would be great. In the confessional, Dorinda said, I think Luann has mistaken my home for an inn. But if that's what I need to do to get this relationship back on course, that's what I'll do. So she gets up from the table to go, I guess, to the restroom. I don't know. And the others start talking about the room assignment. Luann goes, ugh, don't tell me I'm in the fish room. Ramona and Sonia are laughing so loud and for so long, I like had to rewind that scene because I thought maybe something was wrong with them. It was like a hyena, but it was more manic. It was bizarre. And let's not forget they are in a restaurant with other diners. They were nuts because they knew, of course, that she was in the fish room. Luann. If she thinks I came all the way up here and she's gonna stick me in the fish room, she's got another thing coming. So one of them, Sonia, I think, said, she thinks the fish room is great. And Ramona's like, yeah, don't insult her. Yeah, like you guys did. Luann. Don't insult her. I'll insult her if I want to. Okay, what the hell? Where are you getting this attitude from, Missy? Now Dorinda comes back to the table. And right away, Ramona, what room is Luann in? And she goes, yeah, do you not like the shark room? Luann, I'm always in the fish room. Now, to be fair, she was in the fish room last year. I don't know if she's always in it, but I do remember she was there last year. In fact, I remember that she and Sonia and Bethany all woke up in the fish room after a night of heavy drinking. So, you know, somebody's okay in the fish room. Anyway, Luann would like Hannah's room. And Dorinda tells her that no, she's saving that for Bethany. And Luann thinks that's crazy because Bethany's not even here. She's not coming till the next day. So Luann rolls her eyes and said, oh, she's not even here yet. And she takes the nicest room in the house. I love it. I'd expect nothing less. Oh my God, stop whining. You act like you deserve the world because why? Because you're sober now? Because you came out of rehab? What is it that you think you did that was so great that now everybody should kowtow to you? It reminds me of Teresa Giudice thinking that everybody should treat her well because she's alone. Okay, you're not a widow. You're alone because your husband broke the law and he's in prison. In fact, you went to prison too. I don't understand the treat me special because I used to have very bad behavior and I don't anymore. No. Or maybe it's just a Luann thing in general. Do you guys remember when she expected a nicer room because I'm married? I'm a married lady. Oh God. Do you remember that? So maybe she's just wacky. I don't know. Anyway, now Dorinda is pretty angry. She's feeling very insulted, and her comeback is, there are no bad rooms in my house. Every room is like a $500,000 room. Not the fish room. There is a bad room in your house, and it's the fish room. At some point, you're going to have to understand that, Dorinda. As far as every bedroom being worth $500,000, good God. If that's what you paid, you got ripped off. No wonder you thought it was going to cost $100,000 to remodel your tiny kitchen in the city. You've been getting ripped off for years. Side note, where is Barbara staying? She said she was one room shy. Maybe Barbara's not staying there. I don't know. I guess we'll find out next week. Anyway, Tinsley ends up saying, you know what, stop. Just stop it. I'll stay in the shark room. And you can have my room. And Luann goes, oh, you're missing the point. And Tinsley goes, no, I'm not. She wanted to put you in my room, but I don't understand what I don't know, maybe she was afraid to be in the shark room? I really don't understand because that's not the room she said she was going to put Tinsley in. She said she was going to put Tinsley in this back guest bedroom, which was very pretty. Luann she was going to put in the Moroccan room. Maybe she's giving the Moroccan room to Ramona. Maybe that was it. I don't know. Luann is just angry. I believe at one point she told somebody to go fuck a swordfish. Did I hear that? Did I hear that right? Something like that. Anyway, she gets up in a huff and she's walking away, mumbling to herself down the hall. I will say this. I won't be surprised if she either goes home or stays in a hotel. The episode ended right here, so I don't know that for a fact, but I have a feeling. And that wraps up another recap for me. Thank you guys so much for being here and watching. It's so much fun for me to talk about these crazy ladies. So if you guys are enjoying it, it's just makes it all the better for me. All right, if you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to Jill Informed if you haven't already, and leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. I want to know what you guys think of the shark room. Do you think it is like the weird, odd room in an otherwise lovely home? Or do you guys think the shark room is cool? I don't know. Maybe there's some deep sea lovers out there. I wonder if Bethany would like go into anaphylactic shock if she stayed in that room. Oh no, she woke up in that room after a drunken night, so I guess it's okay. All right, that's it for me. I'll be back next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Time for the next recap of The Real Housewives of New York City. Bye-bye.